Hi, my name is Paul Palmer. Today I'm going to talk about training, learning, education, about the real methodology, about the way that you have to establish your program. So, if you consider your manufacturing facility, your pharmaceutical manufacturer, how do you actually decide the SOPs you're going to put in place? How do you decide the structure, the format, the layout? Well, most people go to a consultant, somebody like me, and they say, can you set me up a QMS? And they think, well, let's just get the ones that you've got already and take it off the shelf. But it doesn't work like that, at least not in my opinion. You can you can get some off the shelf if you want, and just buy a set of SOPs. But really you need to consider how the business is going to operate. You need to think about what it is you're going to be doing and what procedures you need to facilitate that. Even wholesale, for example. Now, there's lots of different ways you can run a wholesale business. But the key is you've always got goods in, you've always got storage, and you've always got pick and pack and shipping. But other than that, what else do you do? Well, maybe you decide how you're going to check at goods in. You decide what's going to happen when you do the movements. You decide what status control you're going to use. You decide whether you're going to decant from the large to small and then pick from a pick face, or whether you're just going to ship out large bulk volume. Or maybe you're going to do a combination. And if you're doing a combination, well, that adds to the complexity. And then, of course, you've got to think about how you're going to do the control. You don't want to just be using an Excel spreadsheet, of course. But what are you going to use? And how many people are going to be able to use it? Who's going to log in? Who's going to book the change? Who's going to book the update to the stock levels? Who's going to allocate the correct batch? Who's going to make sure you're following first expiry, first out? And that's why it's really important that you look at how you're going to run the business. And you not just get some SOPs that somebody else has written and used for somewhere else. You need to think about how your business is going to work, where the product's going to come in, what it's going to do whilst it's with you, and where it's going to go out. But then, of course, there's more than that, isn't there? There's more to it, because where are you going to do the training? Have you got a room? When they come in, what do they have to do? Do they change in a different area? Where do they eat? What's the hygiene requirements? What about the health and safety? Think about training in specific equipment. Do they need training in a hand truck? What about a forklift? How many types of forklift? Have you got a motorized hand truck or a manual one? Or maybe they're just going to lift things manually. Well, what about the manual handling? What about the DSE assessment? There's all these things that you need to consider when you're looking at the training schedule. And then, of course, the SOPs that link into that. And if you're getting a delivery, well, how do you know that it's a delivery for you? Well, have you got a schedule? Or have you got an electronic system that tells you? Or have you got a piece of paper that you go through for each one? Or something else? And these are the things why, this is the reason why, when you create a quality management system or a pharmaceutical quality system, you don't just take one off the shelf. Because if you do, as soon as you get an inspection, well, they're going to ask you about the content. And they'll ask you about the other company's content. And you'll get caught out because you won't have the answers. And that's why when somebody says to me, oh, I can just use your SOPs. I say, no, we'll create the SOPs that are suitable for your business, which takes time. We'll work together, we'll go through it. And at the end of it, you won't just have a set of SOPs. You'll have a system for running your business. And you know what happens when you want to place an order. And you'll know how you know that it's the right order that's been delivered from the right supplier. And you'll know that the supplier has been verified because they're on your approved supplier list. And then, of course, once you look at your approved supplier list, you'll know which ones you have to audit and which ones you don't, which ones you've got agreements with, and where they're stored. And everybody in the organization will understand. That's why it's really important to make sure that your training system reflects the way that the business operates, not the standards that the government wants you to apply, not the regulatory requirements, but the way the business operates. And the business must operate in compliance with the regulations, of course. But it's more important to have a set of SOPs that reflect what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, who's going to do it, and make sure that the right people have been trained in the right SOPs. And if there's on-the-job training, that they've done that as well. And if there's something else to do a competency assessment, that they've done that as well. Because these are all the things that make up a business, a system, a process that brings in the product, ships it out, and makes sure the customer gets a satisfactory delivery. And then you need to think about risk. Where's the risk to them? Where's the risk to you? Where's the risk to the business? And you have to think about complaints and recalls, communication. There's a whole raft of different things that you need to build the skills, to make sure everybody learns everything they need, so that the technology that you've implemented is effective and that your business runs efficiently and you make a profit. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Cash flow. Okay, so that's it for me for today. It's Paul Palmer. Thank you. Have a good day.